Government of Union Territories Amendment Bill 2023 introduced in Lok Sabha. Legislative assemblies will be established in some union territories. Women reservation will also be implemented. Chief Election Commissioner Bill 2023 passed by Rajya Sabha. The selection committee will choose the officers. Prime Minister will join the committee. IISc Bengaluru released report on Cavari Basin. The natural vegetation of the area was destroyed. Maximum loss occurred in Karnataka. Sickle cell treatment will now be easy. America approves gene therapy. Experiment will be done on patients above 12 years of age. And Koya Tribe took a big decision, ended the tradition of manufacturing permacore, steps taken for the conservation of Indian bison. Recently, the Government of Union Territories Amendment Bill 2023 was introduced in Lok Sabha. This bill amends the Government of Union Territories Act 1963. This act includes the provision of establishment of legislative assembly and formation of council of ministers for certain union territories. Along with this, seats have been reserved for women in the assembly. It is noteworthy that at present only New Delhi and Puducherry union territories have their own legislative assembly. According to the proposed bill, 1/3 of all elected seats in the Puducherry Legislative Assembly have been reserved for women. This will also apply to seats reserved for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes in the assembly. This reservation will be effective after the publication of the census to be conducted after the implementation of the bill. Delimitation will be done to reserve seats for women on the basis of census. At present, the reservation period has been fixed for 15 years. However, it will continue till such date as determined by a law made by Parliament. Along with this, the seats reserved for women will be rotated after each delimitation as prescribed by a law made by Parliament. It is noteworthy that the Nari Shakti Vandan Act was passed during the special session of Parliament recently. Under this, 1/3 seats in both the houses of Parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, will be reserved for women. Along with this, according to the bill, 1/3 seats in the state assemblies will also be reserved for women. Recently, ICPF, that is India Child Protection Fund, has released a report. According to reports, fast-track courts are disposing of only 28 POCSO cases per year, whereas initially it was estimated to hear 165 cases per year. According to the report, hearing of more than 2.43 lakh POCSO cases is pending in the fast-track special court till January 31st, 2023. As per the present scenario, it will take 30 years for Arunachal Pradesh, 27 years for Delhi, 25 years for West Bengal, 21 years for Meghalaya, 26 years for Bihar, and 22 years for Uttar Pradesh to settle these pending cases. It is noteworthy that the fast-track special court was established in 2019 under the POCSO, that is, Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act. Its purpose is to hear cases specifically related to sexual crimes. At the same time, the POCSO Act was implemented in 2012 to provide legal protection to children from sexual abuse, exploitation, and pornography. It defines various forms of sexual crimes against children. It also makes provisions for strict punishment for criminals. The Act establishes special courts and special juvenile police units and child welfare committees to provide speedy and child-friendly justice. The POCSO Act defines any person under the age of 18 years as a child. It recognizes the right of every child to be free from any form of sexual violence. This is a gender-neutral act. It criminalizes all forms of sexual contact with a child. This includes penetrative and non-penetrative acts as well as sexual harassment and stalking. This act has provisions for harsh punishment for criminals. This includes a minimum of 7 years to life imprisonment or in some cases, death penalty. In the year 2019, the POCSO Act 2012 has been amended to expand the new definition of child pornography, which was not there earlier. Recently, the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners' appointment, conditions of service, and term of office bill was passed in the Rajya Sabha. It includes rules related to the appointment of the Chief Election Commissioner and election commissioners. This bill will replace the Election Commission Conditions of Service of Election Commissioners and Transaction of Business Act 1991. The bill includes provisions for the appointment, salary and removal of CEC, that is Chief Election Commissioner, and EC, that is Election Commissioners. According to this, CEC and EC will be appointed by the President on the recommendation of the Selection Committee. This Selection Committee will include the Prime Minister, a Union Cabinet Minister and the Leader of the Opposition in the Lok Sabha. The recommendations of the Selection Committee will be valid even if there is a vacancy in this committee. Along with this, names will be suggested to the Selection Committee by the Search Committee headed by the Cabinet Secretary. Whereas the salary and service conditions of CEC and EC will be equal to that of Cabinet Secretary. Let us tell you that in the year 1991, Election Commission Conditions of Service of Election Commissioners and Transaction of Business Act was passed by the Parliament. Under this Act, the salary of the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners was fixed at the same level as that of a Supreme Court judge. However, the provision for their appointment process was not included in it. It is noteworthy that in Article 324 of the Constitution, Chief Election Commissioner and Election Commissioner have been mentioned in the Election Commission. The Election Commission of India is responsible for managing the preparation of electoral rolls and conducting elections to the Parliament, state legislators, and the offices of the President and Vice President. Recently, researchers from the Indian Institute of Science, that is IISc Bengaluru, have published a paper on the Cavari Basin. According to this, between 1965 and 2016, natural vegetation on approximately 12,850 square kilometers of land in the Cavari Basin has been destroyed. According to researchers, the maximum loss during this period has occurred in the state of Karnataka. 3/4 of the destroyed area falls under the state of Karnataka. It is noteworthy that this research paper has been published with the title Cavari River, Land Use Dynamics, Biodiversity and Hydrological Status. In the last 50 years, the vegetation cover in this area has declined by about 46%, of which 35% is dense vegetation. In this, especially the forest area limits of Brahmagiri Wildlife Sanctuary, Bandipur National Park, Nagarhole National Park and Cavari Wildlife Sanctuary have been adversely affected, whereas in Bannerghatta National Park, only 28.5% of the moist deciduous forest area remained in 2015. It is noteworthy that in Bannerghatta National Park, moist deciduous forest area was present in about 50% of the area in the year 1973. Apart from this, in the research regarding Tamil Nadu, it was said that the extent of area under irrigation has increased there. In the year 1928, this area was 6,556 square kilometers, which has now increased to 20,233 square kilometers. Whereas in Karnataka, irrigation area has increased from 1,193 square kilometers to 8,497 square kilometers. Let us tell you that Cavari is a perennial river flowing in South India. It originates from a mountain named Brahmagiri located in the Western Ghats. It mainly flows through the states of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Also, it is the main source of irrigation in these two states. This river, known as Southern Ganga, drains into the Bay of Bengal near Tamil Nadu. Harangi, Hemavati, Noil, Amravati, Bhavani, etc. are the major tributaries of Cavari. Recently, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime has released Southeast Asia Opium Survey 2023. According to this, Myanmar has now become the world's largest opium-producing country by overtaking Afghanistan. It has also been reported that the political, social and economic instability in Myanmar since the 2021 coup has inspired people towards poppy cultivation. Afghanistan saw a 95% decline in opium cultivation after the drug ban by the Taliban in 2022. Due to this, global supply has shifted to Myanmar. It is worth noting that opium is a narcotic substance which is obtained from the poppy plant named Papaver somniferum plant. Narcotics like morphine, codeine, heroin, and oxycodone are found in it. These drugs are used in the medical field. Opium was first grown in Mesopotamia around 3400 BC, where it was called Hulgil or joy plant by the Sumerians. For your information, let us tell you that after independence in India, the central government has control over the cultivation and production of opium since April 1950. Presently, the Narcotics Commissioner performs the work related to the superintendence of cultivation and production of opium poppy. The Commissioner derives this authority from the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act 1985. The Government of India announces the licensing policy for opium poppy cultivation every year. Opium can be cultivated only in those areas which are notified by the government. At present, opium is cultivated in the 3 notified states of Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. India is one of the countries permitted to cultivate opium poppy for export internationally by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. Recent research has revealed the exact location of EEHV, that is, endotheliotropic herpes virus, and its subtypes found in Asian elephants. It was found while investigating hemorrhagic disease in Asian elephants. This information has been given by the Indian Veterinary Research Institute based in Bareilly. In this research, the genome of this virus spreading in Indian elephants has been characterized. Besides, the molecular mechanism of dysfunction of endothelial cells associated with this disease has also been discovered. On this basis, this will now help in developing diagnostic kits and vaccines. It is noteworthy that in India, hemorrhagic disease is considered to be the main cause of death of elephant babies in protected areas as well as in open areas. Let us tell you that endotheliotropic herpes virus is a double-stranded DNA virus. It is classified in the herpes viridae family. It causes an acute and fatal hemorrhagic disease in wild and protected juvenile Asian and African elephants. It is fatal for elephants between the ages of 1 and 12 years. The infection of this virus spreads through direct contact with the body fluids of elephants, such as saliva and discharge from skin wounds. Its symptoms usually include the loss of appetite, watery nose and swollen glands, etc. in elephants. Treatment includes antiviral therapy, aggressive fluid therapy, immunostimulating drugs such as selenium and vitamin C and E, and a combination of antipyretics and analgesics. For your information, let us tell you that Asian elephant is the national heritage animal of India. Asian elephants constitute about 55% of the world's elephant population. It is listed as endangered on the IUCN Red List and on Appendix 1 of CITES. It is noteworthy that the Government of India had launched Project Elephant in February 1992 for the conservation of elephants in India. Recently, the US Food and Drug Administration has approved 2 gene therapies for sickle cell disease. These include Bluebird's Bio's treatments called Lyfgenia and Casgevy. Both treatments are approved for people aged 12 years and older. Casgevy is made by Vertex Pharmaceuticals Limited and CRISPR Therapeutics. It is noteworthy that this is the first treatment for people with sickle cell disease in America. According to an estimate, sickle cell disease affects 1 million people in America, most of whom are black. Let us tell you that it has been designed to insert modified genes into the body through Bluebird Bio's sickle cell therapy inactivated virus. This helps the patient's red blood cells produce normal hemoglobin, whereas in Vertex therapy, stem cells are obtained from the bone marrow of patients. They are then sent to manufacturing cells where they are edited using CRISPR-Cas9 technology. The cells are then infused back into the patient after a period of incubation. Both therapies can take several months and involve high-dose chemotherapy. It is noteworthy that sickle cell disease is a hereditary red blood cell disease. Hemoglobin is abnormal in a person suffering from this disease. Due to this, the red blood cells become hard and sticky. In this, due to excessive destruction of red blood cells, the shape of red blood cells becomes crescent-shaped and chronic anemia occurs. This can cause pain and other serious health problems such as infection, acute chest syndrome, and stroke. The only long-term treatment for sickle cell disease is a bone marrow transplant. Recently, researchers have identified peptides extracted from the skin of the BUET frog, in which the ability to fight disease-causing pathogens has been found. This information was given by researchers of the Indian Institute of Science. Researchers reported that the peptidase secreted by frog inhibits two key enzymes called subtilissin, Carlsberg, and proteinase K produced by the pathogens. These enzymes play an important role in promoting infection by degrading specific protective proteins of the infected person. Researchers have used various spectroscopic techniques and protein assays to study the binding of peptides. Let us tell you that the BUET frog is an adorable looking frog. It is highly intelligent and aggressive. Its skin is olive green in color. They are found near permanent or seasonally exposed bodies of water in Paraguay, Argentina, and Bolivia in South America. They inflate themselves when they are preyed upon or frightened. This does not affect the potential hunter, so they pounce on them and make a shrill scream. They usually live in burrows during the dry season, during which time they shed many layers of skin. This forms a waterproof cocoon which keeps the frog moist. It is listed as least concern in the IUCN Red List. Other common names for the BUET frog are the hippo frog and Freddy Krueger frog. They can live up to 5 years. IUCN, that is International Union for Conservation of Nature, has shared research regarding biodiversity. According to this, climate change is making the biodiversity crisis worse. According to statistics, the number of plants and animals on Earth is declining rapidly. Along with this, IUCN has released the list of endangered species, in which it was told that more than 44,000 species are threatened with extinction. This number is approximately 2,000 more than last year. Due to climate change, about 6,700 species are threatened with extinction. For example, the green turtle of the Central-South Pacific and Eastern Pacific is at greater risk because of climate change. Actually, due to warming of seawater, it affects the growth of seagrasses, due to which the food supply of these green turtles is disrupted, which is believed to be the main reason for the decline in their numbers. The first comprehensive assessment of the health of freshwater fish species was also shared, in which it was told that about 1/4 of their species are on the verge of extinction. Besides, frogs, salamanders, and other amphibians are also falling prey to these problems. About 41% of these species are under threat. Recently, the Koya Tribe of Andhra Pradesh has decided to end a tradition thousands of years old. It has taken this step in an effort to conserve the Indian bison. Actually, the Koya Tribe uses bison horns to make their traditional flute permacore. Therefore, now it will use eco-friendly palm leaves instead of bison horns. Let us tell you that Koya is one of the few multiracial and multilingual tribal communities of India. They are a local tribe living in the Papikonda hill range along the banks of Godavari and Sabri rivers in the eastern Ghats of India. Its population is also found in the states of Chhattisgarh and Odisha. They believe that their main deity still resides in a cave in Bastar region. Their mother tongue Koi comes under the Dravidian language group. However, most of them speak Gondi or Telugu in addition to any other language. Traditionally, the Koya were pastoralists and shifting cultivators, but currently this community has started permanent farming along with animal husbandry and seasonal forest collection. Among them, the tradition of making menhir in memory of the dead is prevalent. It is noteworthy that Koya has retained its rich and diverse heritage of unique dance and music. Among these, Koya dance is famous not only for its originality and spontaneity, but also for its elaborate activities. While dancing, the men wear huge headgear with bison horns and the girls are adorned with colorful costumes and jewelry. For your information, let us tell you that Indian bison is also called gaur or bosgaurus. It is the largest species of wild cattle found in India. It is the largest existing bovine. The gaur population worldwide is around 13,000 to 30,000, of which about 85% are present in India. They are basically found in South and Southeast Asia. At the same time, in India, they are found in abundance in the Western Ghats. Here they are mainly found in Nagarhole National Park, Bandipur National Park, Masinagudi National Park and Biligirangana Hills. It is included in the vulnerable category in the IUCN Red List, whereas it is included in Schedule 1 of the Indian Wildlife Protection Act 1972. It is noteworthy that the other name of Papikonda Hill is Bison Hills Range. A part of this hill range was declared a sanctuary in 1978. The sanctuary was declared as a national park in 2008. Recently, India chaired the G-Pay Summit. This three-day summit was held in Delhi. It was attended by 28 member states and a delegation from the European Union, including 5 ministerial delegations. The ministerial delegation included representatives from Canada, France, Japan, Turkey, and the UK. Apart from these, 67 GPA experts and more than 120 industrialists and experts also participated in the summit. Notably, this program represents a collaborative effort to promote innovation, ethical AI strategies, and global partnerships in the field of artificial intelligence. Apart from the official GPA event, the summit also featured several side events organized by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. These included several events including the AI Game Changers Award for Startups, Global AI Expo with AI Solutions and Research Symposium. Let us tell you that GPA is the short form of Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence. It is a multi-stakeholder initiative that aims to bridge the gap between AI theory and practice through research and practical activities. This partnership was formed in the year 2020 with 15 members. Currently, GPA has 29 member countries. Recently, the Climate Change Performance Index or CCPI report was released. Denmark, Estonia, and the Philippines are the best performing countries in the index. India has secured 7th rank in this index. India has performed better in this report for the 5th consecutive year. With its exceptional performance in the field of renewable energy, India has overtaken fellow developing countries and placed itself in the top tier. Let us tell you that Denmark, Estonia, and Philippines have been placed at 4th, 5th, and 6th position respectively in the index. Actually, the first 3 places in this report have been kept vacant. The reason behind doing this was the poor performance of the countries. The report said that no country performed well across all categories of the index to achieve a perfect rating. Let us tell you that this index is published jointly by German Watch, New Climate Institute, and Climate Action Network on an annual basis. It was released for the first time in the year 2005. Through this report, the efforts of countries to deal with climate change are monitored. As an independent monitoring tool, it aims to increase transparency in international climate politics. After the news, now let's take a look at 5 questions related to the bulletin. Questions based on today's bulletin are: first question is, consider the following statements regarding Government of Union Territories Amendment Bill 2023. 1. This bill amends the Government of Union Territories Act 1963. 2. Under this, legislative assemblies will be established in some union territories. 3. This bill will not be applicable in Puducherry and New Delhi. How many of the above statements are correct? Only 1, only 2, all 3, or none? Next question is, consider the following statements regarding POCSO Act. 1. This act provides legal protection to children from sexual abuse, exploitation, and pornography. 2. It was implemented in the year 2015. 3. Under this act, a special court has been constituted for children. Which of the above statements is or are correct? Only 1, only 2, all 3, or none of the above? Next question is, consider the following statements regarding endotheliotrophic herpes. 1. It is a type of bacteria. 2. It causes hemorrhagic disease in elephants. 3. Endotheliotrophic herpes is more fatal for elephants between 1 and 5 years of age. How many of the above statements are correct? Only 1, only 2, all 3, or none? Next question is, consider the following statements regarding Permacore. 1. Permacore is the name of a traditional flute. 2. It is manufactured by the Koya Tribe. 3. Sandalwood is used for its construction. How many of the above statements are incorrect? Only 1, only 2, all 3, or none of the above? Last question is, consider the following statements regarding Climate Change Performance Index. 1. This report is released every year by the World Bank. 2. Denmark has secured 1st position in the index. 3. India has got 5th rank in the report. How many of the above statements are correct? Only 1, only 2, all 3, or none of the above? But while moving on, let us look at some small but important news. Recently, the state government has requested DRDO, that is Defence Research and Development Organization, to stop missile testing off the Odisha coast in the months of February and March. In fact, this month is the season for large-scale nesting of olive ridley sea turtles. Every year during the nesting season, millions of olive ridley turtles come to the coast of Odisha to lay eggs. DRDO operates 2 major missile test ranges in Odisha, namely Chandipur in Balasore district and APJ Abdul Kalam Island in Bhadrak district. Olive ridley is one of the 5 species of sea turtles found in India. It is protected under Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972 and Appendix 1 of the CITES Convention. It is included in the vulnerable list of IUCN Red List. Recently, the National Mission for Clean Ganga on behalf of the River Cities Alliance has signed a MOU with the Mississippi River Cities and Towns Initiative. This agreement was made during the ongoing COP28 in the United Arab Emirates. The Mississippi River Cities and Towns Initiative represents 124 cities and towns. Mississippi River is a river of the United States. Let us tell you that this agreement brings the National Clean Ganga Mission closer to the beginning of the Global River Cities Alliance. National Mission for Clean Ganga was registered as a society on August 12, 2011 under the Societies Registration Act 1860. Its objective is to promote regional comprehensive planning and management and conservation of River Ganga by adopting a river basin approach. Recently, the 4th edition of Joint Military Exercise WINBEX 2023 was started. It is being organized in Hanoi, Vietnam from December 11, 2023. It is organized between Vietnam and India, in which joint military exercises of the Indian Armed Forces and of Vietnam People's Army are conducted. This joint exercise will help in promoting understanding and interoperability between the two contingents. Also, defense cooperation between the armies will be further strengthened. The WINBEX exercise was started in 2018. Its first edition was organized in Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh. It is an annual training program which is organized in India and Vietnam by rotation. Its previous edition was held in August 2022 at Chandi Mandir Military Station. Recently, the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship has released a report. According to this report, more than 21 lakh applications have been received for PM Bishwakarma Yojana in 2.5 months. Let us tell you that PM Bishwakarma Yojana is a central scheme launched by the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. It aims to provide services like market linkage and support, skill training and incentives for digital transactions to artisans and craftsmen engaged in businesses. Recently, the Food and Agriculture Organization has released the Regional Overview of Food Security and Nutrition 2023 report, in which it has been said that in the year 2021, about 74.1% Indians are unable to consume healthy food, whereas in 2020 this figure was 76.2%. Whereas India's neighboring country Pakistan has 82.2% population and Bangladesh has 66.1% population who faced difficulties in getting healthy food. The report says that if the rising cost of food is not matched by rising incomes, more people will be unable to afford a healthy diet. Recently, former Secretary General of the United Nations Ban Ki-moon has been honored with the Lifetime Achievement Award at the Power of One Award 2023 ceremony. The celebration was organized by Diwali Foundation USA in the United States. This award is given to a person who selflessly helps in creating a peaceful and safe world for all. It is also called the Oscar of Diplomacy. 3 other experienced diplomats have been given awards at this ceremony, which includes former permanent representative of Bosnia and Herzegovina to the United Nations, former permanent ambassador of South Korea, Mirsada Kolakovic, Kim Suk, and president of the 72nd United Nations General Assembly, Miroslava Lajcik. Recently, the Union Ministry of Science and Technology has released a data for women scientists under the Women Scientist Scheme. According to this data, since 2018 till now, about 1,962 women scientists have benefited under the scheme. This includes beneficiaries from states and union territories. Women Scientist Scheme is a scheme launched under the Department of Science and Technology of the Union Ministry. It includes women scientists and technologists aged between 27 to 57 years. The objective of this scheme is to provide opportunities to those women scientists who had halted their careers due to motherhood and family responsibilities and wish to return to the mainstream. This is one of the major programs of Women in Science and Engineering Kiran scheme. Recently, Hindi writer Pushpa Bharti has been awarded the 33rd Vyas Samman 2023 award. She has been given this award for her work Yade Yade Aur Yade. This award is presented by the K.K. Birla Foundation, established in 1991. This award is given for a notable work of Hindi literature by an Indian citizen published in the last 10 years. This award is given every year. Under this, an amount of ₹4 lakh, a citation and a plaque are provided. In the year 2022, this award was given for Dr. Gyan Chaturvedi's novel Pagal Khana. Recently, the World Health Organization has released a global status report on road safety 2023. According to this report, between 2010 and 2021, there has been a 5% decline in deaths due to road accidents worldwide, which has now become 1.19 million annually. Yet globally, there are more than 2 deaths per minute and more than 3,200 deaths per day. At the same time, it was also told that the death rate in India has increased by 15%, whereas the death toll has increased from 1.34 lakh in 2010 to 1.54 lakh in 2021. According to the report, the number of children and youth in the age group of 5 to 29 years who die in road traffic accidents is high. Recently, the Government of India and the Asian Development Bank have signed an agreement related to a loan of $200 million. Through this loan, climate-friendly power system development project will be developed in Uttarakhand. Through this project, 537-kilometer long underground cables, 354 ring main units and 99 compact substations will be developed. It will also modernize the electricity network infrastructure of Dehradun city. Asian Development Bank is a multilateral development bank. It was established in 1966. It is committed to inclusive economic growth, environmentally sustainable and regional integration, and poverty alleviation in Asia and the Pacific.